I'll message you if it's if something like this.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You give me
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
Morning, Scrammy.
Good morning. How are you today?
Oh, I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm excellent too.
Good. Well, we are in good company.
That's right.
Hi Ron. Ron,
Hello,
they're
good
coming
morning,
in right
guys.
now. Nice to see you
Good morning.
again.
Good morning.
And
Yes.
Lauren, nice to see.
Good morning. How are you today?
Someone is making a sound like a vacuum cleaner sound. Who is that?
I think it's the
Yes,
falls to your right.
the falls.
Yeah, there's a falls to your right. Isn't that the
Oh,
one?
no, I don't know. To the right. This one. It's gone. So it's already how you say it. Somebody already muted himself or. And I can mute you all, but I'm trying not to mute you all. So I will. We're gonna start this session very soon. So I'm also happy that you came. There's always a lot of people that come again and again. I'm really happy to see you guys always. So thank you for coming. And also for the newbies, are there any new people here? Can you give me some hearts or something so I can see that who is new? Yeah, thank you for coming. Very good, Scrammy. And also, can you all use your emojis to show that you can understand me correctly, and if you to see if we yes, very good. Yes, it's nice if we can communicate with the emojis a little bit, and also to like if we maybe I mute you guys that you give the presenter Frank Clayton some feedback on how he is presenting. So I hear music. Who is making this beautiful, cozy music in the back? Yeah, it's gone.
Probably me. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, shall I mute you, or is it something that will go away soon?
Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna
it's gone.
I muted myself.
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Ah,
So
good. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is not a therapy session. I will want to say that to you guys. This is a open discussion, and also we have a little bit of a workshop going on this time, and Frank Clayton is going to tell you more about it. Hello. Yes, very nice to see you as well. Maybe you can, yeah, thank you. We also will be recording this session. So as you know, maybe if you don't like to be recorded, we can end the recording after the talk of Frank Clayton. But if you don't mind, we keep the recording through the whole session. So please give me a message if you don't want it to be recorded the whole session when people might say something, yeah? But or else, if I don't hear anything, we will keep recording till the end of the session, and that's like in 1 hour it will finish. My name is Dana Maria Paneke. I've been sailing on big traditional sailing vessels worldwide, first as a crew member and later as a captain, and now I help people to become the captains of their lives, and virtual reality is the most powerful tool to help me with my mission. And that's why I started a company called Captain VR, and I'm really proud to be part of this wonderful organization called Educators in VR, which is founded by Laurel van Vossen and Daniel Diposky Bryant. And I'm the team leader of the vCoaching and personal development track. And the mission is to build a network of people around the world who are interested in coaching and personal development, and to provide them an interactive space where they can communicate, and also to share knowledge, support, connect, and inspire each other. And maybe even join forces to create a better real world for everyone. So this is why we also have guest speakers every week, especially in these times of Corona crisis. We want to provide a place, a safe place where people can share knowledge, but also share their feelings and emotions. And then we have always a beautiful guest speaker that can help people in these times of crisis. Like we now have Frank Clayton as a guest speaker. He's here on my left, speaker that can help us. He's a clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah, USA. Frank is specialized in positive psychology and has been teaching his class Happiness 101 free to the community for over a decade. Frank has taught at such prestigious institutions as the University of Utah, Brigham Young University, and Snow College, and he's the owner of Salt Lake Mental Health Inc. and is dedicated to help people to overcome depression, anxiety to live a fuller, happier lives. So, in the wake of the corona crisis, he has offered the latest incarnation of Happiness 101 via internet, and he hopes to bring a series to virtual reality, including those by Berkeley, Yale, and the United Kingdom's Action for Happiness. So I'm so happy to have Frank Clayton here. So give him a big hand. Frank Clayton.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Please give a huge thanks for Donna Maria for what she's doing. She is making the world a better place in her way. I want to make sure that you guys know how to reach her because there's a great saying that I just really love and gravitate to. It's, I can't control the weather, but I can control the direction of my sails. And that's the very essence of what she's doing. She is helping you to become the captain of your own life. So her website is captainvr.com.nl because she's in the Netherlands. And so please make sure that you contact her. I'm a really big one for any and all resources out there that are going to help us to be happier. So please make sure that you check her out, okay? Give her hearts, give her some love, give her some applause. Woohoo! So thank you, Donna Maria, for inviting me, and I wanted to make sure that I thank educators in VR and Laurel, and also Bogdan and Jason are here and helping to make sure that everything is working smoothly. So I wanted to get right into it. I have some exciting stuff to share with you guys, and to start off with, I would like you to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 100 right now on where your level of happiness is, because before this is over, I'm going to help you to see that there is actually things that you can do to help yourself to be happier. So right this minute, so 100 is deliriously happy and 1 is really depressed. So right this minute, I'd like you to go ahead and rate yourself on that scale from 1 to 100, okay? Because some people talk about their happiness and their depression almost kind of like it's the weather, right? It just kind of happens. The depression just kind of happens, and then they just get out their little umbrella and do the best that they can to get by and just wait it out. But there are actually things that you can do. And if you struggle with depression, I've struggled with depression in the past, which is one of the reasons I'm very much about positive psychology, is because it works. And so when I'm talking about depression, I'm not just saying you don't just snap your fingers and you're out of it. But think of it this way. If for some sadistic reason you decided that you wanted to make yourself more depressed, make yourself less happy, do you believe that you could do that? Do you believe that you could right now by thinking about things or doing certain things that you could make yourself less happy or more depressed? So doesn't it stand to reason if there are things that you could do to make yourself more depressed, doesn't it stand to reason that there are things that you can do to make yourself feel less depressed. So that's why I wanted you to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 100, because I don't want you to have that mentality that your happiness or your depression is like the weather, kind of like what Donna Maria is doing. I want you to feel like you're more like the captain of your own ship. Okay, so I'm going to get, if I just told you what this technique is, you'd be like, wow, really? Like that's what I came for? But it's so easy and it's so simple that I want to give you some science behind it. So to not just tell you what it is, but why it works. So this technique was developed by Martin Seligman, who is considered like the father of positive psychology, and he calls it 3 good things. Okay, and this has been replicated over and over. One of the things that I love about positive psychology is that it's steeped in science, and I think that a big reason for that is because the word happiness has gotten associated with positive psychology. And because it has, I think that the scientific rigor has had to be even more stringent. So, so anyone who's ever been depressed knows that we have this, it's called a downward spiral. And we have this experience where it feels like it's feeding on itself, okay? And scientifically, they prove that that is actually happening, that that it feeds on itself. And I'm doing my hand in a downward motion to show you that this is kind of what's happening, is that it gets worse and it gets worse and it just seems to feed on itself. So the good news is that scientifically they proved the exact opposite phenomenon is also happening, that we can experience a happiness boost, and we can reverse the trajectory from a downward spiral into an upward spiral. And so, of course, the question is, Frank, how do I do that? How do I don't want to be going downward. I want to be going upward. And a lot of times we put a lot of stock into the big things. We think that, oh, well, you know, when I was really happy was when I went on that cruise. And so clearly I need to quit my whole life and be on a cruise ship, right? And even that doesn't work. And that's something that I teach in my class is like, why does our happiness not last? And a lot of it is because we put our stock in the big things. We think that these big flashy things, if I won the lottery, for example, that would make me happy. But they've actually shown that it doesn't, even winning the lottery, the happiness boost does not last indefinitely. So, so what is it that will make us happy? It's much more the little things. Okay, it's more, it's our perspective. It's the way that we think and how we train our brain to think. Okay, I want to give you a little bit more of the background of this. I want you to think of the concept of leverage, right? If I have a big rock and I want to move that rock, and I'm going to use, if you think of a teeter-totter kind of a situation, so that thing in the middle is called a fulcrum, which I didn't know until pretty recently, and then you have the plank, right? And so if you put that plank in exactly the right place and the fulcrum in the right place in relation to the rock, you can move that rock very, very easily. But if you were to move the fulcrum all the way to the other end of the lever, you're not only going to not be able to move the rock, you might not even be able to lift the other end of the lever, right? So the reason that I bring that analogy into it is because the technique that I'm going to teach you is putting exactly the amount of effort in exactly the right place that you actually need it. This technique has been replicated over and over, where they have had they have people who are severely depressed. Anybody here ever struggle with depression by a raise of hands? How about you do the sad emoji if you've ever struggled with depression? So yeah, there's a lot of people, right? I've struggled with depression. I've been on antidepressants. So I get it. Believe me, I get it. So they took people who were severely depressed and they had them do this one intervention that I'm about to teach you. And within 15 days, with this being the only intervention, these people went from severely depressed up to moderately depressed, if not mildly depressed, in 15 days. I mean, and you would think, well, is this like a 2-hour intervention? No, this will take you less than 15 minutes, probably closer to 10 minutes. So there's a lot of bang for the buck for this. And it's because, again, you're putting exactly the amount of effort in exactly the place where it's needed. So as I said, I call him Uncle Marty because I feel like we're on that kind of basis. Martin Seligman, he called it 3 good things. I call it positives. So positives are anything that you are grateful for or appreciate. And to do the exercise properly, you want to identify what is the thing that you're grateful for, and then give yourself, I would say, at least 3 sentences about why you appreciate that specific thing, 3 or 4. Now, when he talks about this, he advises that you write it down, which people often refer to as a gratitude journal. And that's fine. Doing that is great. You'll get a lot of bang for the buck. And over the decade that I've been teaching Happiness 101, I've had some of these moments where the student becomes the teacher, right? Because my students would come back and they'd say, well, you know what? Rather than writing them down, I started sharing them with other people. I'll share them on Facebook. I'll share them with my loved ones. I've had couples who have shared their positives as a part of their evening ritual before they're winding down and going to bed. I have also had families that will make their positives part of their evening meal discussion. Or I've even had I think this is just great because I've had some of my students, what they did is they do this as part of their nighttime ritual with their kids. And so they're teaching their kids this technique. And even a 3-year-old can become your accountability partner. Daddy, we can't go to sleep. We haven't done our positives yet. Right? And the great thing about sharing the positives is that you are, there's a synergy that is happening because the other person can share things that they are grateful for or appreciate. And you can realize, wow, that's something that I've been taking for granted, or I never really thought that that was something to be grateful for. There's that old saying that you don't know what you got till it's gone. I think that if I would be upset tomorrow, if something were suddenly gone from my life, that why can't I appreciate it today? Why do I have to be upset or wait until it's gone before I can stop and appreciate it? So to do your positives, it doesn't have to be anything big. And it doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with you. I mean, it could, but I've worked with people at times who have struggled with depression, and when I ask them to think of anything good about themselves, they're just like stumped. So if you haven't already done so, we're going to break up into some small groups. If you haven't already done so, please rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 100 as to where your level of happiness is right now. 100 being really, really happy, 1 being really depressed. Identify where you're at really right now if you haven't already done so. And we're going to go ahead and have you guys break into groups of 3. If you run into an odd number, go ahead and go with 4. But I really prefer 3. And when you get into your groups of 3, share some things that you appreciate or are grateful for. So, what questions do you have? Oh, and please, as you're doing your positives for this time, please keep it very well positive. If there's any traces or any negativity, please leave that out for now. Please don't complain. Keep your positives very pristine. Okay. So what questions do you have before we go ahead and break up?
You can speak now, everybody. I think you're all unmuted, so please, if you just speak up for questions. No questions? Great. So just maybe we can have some group here, like 3 people in this group. If you come to me with 3 people, just so we can have some people, so make this easy. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And there's, who's that? So just help the people to get them in groups. Yeah, you already here, Lauren. So thank you for being here. You here, T-Max, please stay here. And then have someone else coming here. Maybe Stumpy Carl. Stumpy, can you come in this group? Yes, thank you. So you have 3?
I really like those 2.
Just you 3 stick there, or 4? That's also good. Yeah, go CG, you can help that group. I will just look around.
Kind of nice, contribution.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
I like that.
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Please don't do any portals here. Who's doing that? Don't do any portals here, please.
I will definitely try.
You don't have to.
Cool.
What are you
Okay.
right now?
So what are some things that you're
Paula?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Paula B?
What are some things
Nice
that
try.
you're grateful for right now?
Can you have this group? Hi, nice to meet you. Maybe you can do this with AMS? Can you do this together? You too? Can you do the group together, the talk?
Everybody's in good health.
Do what together?
That's great.
To talk about the positive things that can,
I'm pretty grateful.
what number did you rate yourself,
I
for
have a fucking
example?
girl,
Oh, 60.
and I cut her hair.
Yeah, I've got my family
I
and
can
friends
take her out.
too, so that's always
That's
like
a,
About
that's a,
60.
it makes me really
yeah,
happy.
that's okay.
Oh, she's a mom.
And you? IMS?
That's the best kind.
Yeah, they're the
What
hell.
else? What are the things that make you happy
50?
during the day? Do you have pets or anything like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also grateful for Tostino.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry. It's a little bit uncomfortable if you did it for the first time. So don't worry. We just
What are you interested in? What are some of the fun
all
things you like
trying
to do that make you
to
happy?
do this in an interactive way. So actually, I had 90, but I am most of the time a very happy person. But sometimes, like last week, I was really. Oh no, only positive things.
Oh,
Sorry. So, what kind of positive things you
Yeah,
can
that's
tell
true.
about yourself?
High five, sister.
That's great.
Wonderful child.
Oh, okay.
What are you
Well,
grateful for?
And
How old
also
are you?
grateful for my family and that we're doing well, and I can work from home as well,
12, very good.
a little
You got
bit,
a majestic beard for
but it's
someone
enough
who's about to
to
be
keep
12.
us going. And I'm glad that everyone in my family is tolerating this,
I'm a
and we
little
can
older,
get out
though.
and go
You
for
can
walks
tell, yeah.
and
I'm
Yeah,
30.
go for drives.
Two equals all
I'm
Can you hear me?
That's
Yeah,
all
I'm
these
happy
is
for a lot of things. I'm happy.
And you,
Oh,
Eventually.
Paula, Beam?
Oh, some things that makes me
I
happy,
think
like
Cartoon
that's
Network is gonna como ser
finishing something for
Les,
work
do you want to join?
Do you have a
Les,
microphone?
please join.
in a
Sorry.
successful
Go ahead.
fashion,
That's all right.
What do
I was just
what do you
back listening.
what are your
or
thoughts?
walking outside when it's nice weather makes me happy too.
Yeah, me too. That
I missed
sounds,
out
that
on
helps
part of
me.
it.
Having people over for dinner.
We're just explaining what makes
So when
us
you go
happy, Raj.
outside, you
So
have to
he's
put one on?
having
Okay.
people over for dinner, walking
Yeah, I
outside,
think
and
cops like
Amaris
people for
was
not
talking
wearing
about her
them.
daughter of 12
New
years
York cops
old,
are like
where
a
she's so
gang.
proud of.
That's what they are.
And go on, Paula, you have more, even?
Where are you, Lauren?
Are you on the west coast?
I'm in California.
Well, I can
That's where I go to
think
school,
some things
but I
up.
actually
For example,
Portland right now. So I've been
So you
here
just stay up there? So you're stuck up there?
Well, no, like I kind of came from
having read something nice in a book
You,
or on
you
the
chose,
web,
you chose Portland.
or having seen a movie or a film or a video
yeah, but I've been in California like the whole
which
past
interested
year,
me
so
or
I've only
taught
been
me
here
something.
for 3 weeks. But California's amazing.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
And you?
I've only been there once.
Rash?
I'm like, I want to go back.
As far as what makes me happy,
We stay, we Airbnb.
I like helping people out here on Alt Space.
Well, I live, well, I go to school in Orange County.
Are you like part of the outspace?
The big one.
No, not yet. I could be real easily, but I just haven't applied.
Yeah, but
I'm in New Mexico,
I've been asked to apply, but no.
another new state.
But you love doing helping out outspace with
that's
events.
where that's where
Questions.
Yep.
Oh, so good, yeah.
Yeah, did you know corn isn't supposed to be yellow?
Yeah, me, I'm also
It's actually
love
black,
to help
orange,
out on
brown,
educators in
orange,
VR. Then I'm
yellow.
more from the educators in VR, partly the team leader of the personal
Who's
development
recording
training.
in
And I
you'd
love
be amazed. You'd be like, what
Oh,
is
yeah.
this? What are you
I love to be busy
doing?
with
Like carrots, like, you
with
know,
personal development and coaching. So I really like
what else?
for myself to
The
always
quarantine,
to have a most beautiful and happy life that I can create, and I always try to create a positive mindset for doing that. So that's why I really was happy to have the Happy Therapist Award. Because I always like to learn more about these things, so because it's never ending, this learning process, I believe, and I'm really happy to doing that.
Is it?
Yes, I'm really curious about what that scientific method is.
So
Yeah.
what did you guys rate?
Is
And why
did
is
you
it
not-
why is it scientific? How is it
Yeah, you
tested
can-
scientifically?
75?
That's a good question. Will you ask that question after the session to him?
Yes,
Please?
I can.
Good
Mhm.
job.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I said 75 as well.
More people.
Wow.
Anybody else? Where are you from, actually?
Me?
Yeah?
Are you too laggy?
California,
I'm from
Paula?
I'm from Holland, the Netherlands.
And which part?
The northern part, near the island.
Ah, great. And you?
Hi, Theo.
Rash?
I'm Kentucky.
Well, being able
Kentucky.
Yep.
I only,
prep
yeah?
and then just playing a big line in the middle.
Thank you.
Never been there.
How many people are do you help these days, like in your practice? 40 a week or something?
Well, we're supposed to.
Nope. I've only been to countries in
How
Europe.
are you?
10 out of 10 recommend.
Nice to see
Yeah,
you.
I would like to get one day.
And what number of happiness did you give yourself, Rash?
So I'm just, I have
I wasn't here for that part.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
part that I missed out on.
On a scale from 0 to 100.
And that's, my
0 is very depressed and 100 is super happy.
Oh.
I wouldn't rank very high. Let's put it that way right now. Yep.
Do you think you would rate in the upper half or in the lower half?
It takes time.
Lower half, probably.
Oh, well then you can benefit from this, I think.
Yeah,
Well, of course, everybody can
I try
benefit.
and come in and try and learn as much as I can. And well, I was helping somebody out, so I ended up being late.
Yeah, so
That's kind of why.
and then trigger button.
So, but it does make you really happy to help people out. So that was a good thing that you maybe,
the top button, the A
because you
button.
could help someone out, so that makes you happy.
You're
Yeah.
right at the
Yeah.
door, and then you just like
Yeah.
point wherever you want to go, and then let go, and then you
So
yourself
although you
apart.
may be a little bit late, you did something what made you happy as
And
well.
then to
So
move
that
around
was
like this is
maybe
the joystick in your right hand.
good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have a lot going on right now. My wife's bedridden and all, so yeah, that's why I'm kind of.
Have you guys been to these classes
On a
before?
down, how you say
Down.
that you down, yeah, a
Yeah.
downward spiral, yeah. I can imagine. It's a hard time as well, this time.
Yeah,
But
with
good that
everything
you're
going
here.
on.
Yeah, I've never been in this space.
Yeah, well, luckily we are
Yeah, I've
we are
been
not
some
in
to
lockdown.
some of the
Luckily,
educators in VR, but
yeah,
Not here, you mean?
not in Holland. No.
Opening things back up.
But I have a
Not in
friend in
Holland.
New Zealand, and New Zealand is still under lockdown.
Ah, yeah.
Arms. Okay. Where are you from, Arms? We didn't hear where you're at.
California, isn't it?
California? Okay.
so if they do that, does that mean you have to go back to work?
Yeah, your microphone is a bit soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Maybe I can amplify you if you like. Put you a little bit. Oh yeah, that's already.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I'm in Northern California.
That must also be really beautiful.
I work with foster kids as well.
Then I also have
Now I do telehealth from home. With a few of the kids that can do it. Yeah. I love working with the foster kids. It's
fun to have
great kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny because I'm also from the Netherlands and it's getting in the evening now. So it's not dusk because it's going to be
No,
late.
I'm an OT, so I work with the kids,
For us,
foster kids with disabilities.
it's evening, and for you guys, it's morning. It's interesting how that it works. Yeah, good.
Hello.
So can we have more? Hey, Evelyn.
So what else are you guys grateful for?
Hey, how are you doing?
Very good. So can we maybe share more positive things? Because that was the whole thing, I think, from this breakup, the group breakup. How can we help our lives to have more positive things, to create more positive things in our
Yeah, that
lives?
was fun.
Okay, we want to gather back together. Go ahead and wrap it up. Make sure that you send lots of friend requests.
Throwing parties, yeah, maybe we can do one in VR soon.
Party.
Yeah, everybody's happy suddenly. Yeah, shall we do one in VR? We can make a party, like a Friday evening with music.
Zoom parties
Yeah. Oh, you've been there?
We've
And the Zoom party.
parties with our colleagues.
See, I love this. You guys are into such a flow of positivity that you don't want to stop, which is great.
Yes, we all sit at home with our drinks and we play games.
So we're going to give you guys an opportunity to do some Q&A. But something that Donna Maria is really good about pointing out is how it's kind of that two heads are better than one, and 20 heads are even better.
Oh, there you go.
I had them set it
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Are you
leave
close to
guys.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna
So we
take it
can
back
go on
and
with
have
the
a
rest of
lower
it, and then we
reaction
can
and go with a different, maybe a heavier string.
Yeah, you guys will be able to talk more after that. It's not like the door is going to slam shut, right? And in fact, I'm going to be able to hang around with you guys, and so if there's any questions that you have afterwards. But do you guys have any words of wisdom for us regarding maybe some things that have really worked for you, or maybe some things that came out of sharing your positives that that you're like, wow, that is really something that is a great idea. We should do that.
Yes, so people can raise their hands by clicking on the raise hand button on the right button. I already have one person who raised their hand, so we're gonna see who's that, and we're gonna answer. Oh, no, he dropped out. So anybody has a question, please put the raise hand button on the right side of the bottom. Yeah, you put your raise hand. Futuresque, you want to say something? I can see if I can make you. Can you not do the button, Futurist? Because I cannot unmute you like that, I think. You need to do the right hand button. Can you push that button on the right hand, on your right hand, on the bottom side? So I can unmute you. Yes, sorry. I will do it now. Yes, thank you, Futurist. Now you can talk.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, I was just talking. Well, there are some ideas that I was reminded of early on when I was younger in college. I went to a psychology talk, and this professor was studying rumination, and she noticed that some people were just predisposed to ruminating, which is going back to negative experiences that may have happened in like So I am unmuted, yeah? Everybody raise their hands if they can read.
Yeah, you were, I didn't hear you for a while. Can you do it again?
Sure, okay, so really quickly, a lot of people are genetically predisposed to ruminating. And that's a pattern of thinking where you go back to negative experiences, whether small or big, you know, that dumb thing you said in the conversation before, oh man, I could have said something else, that type of thing, that's rumination. And it's a pattern of thinking that some people are just predisposed to. And I realized that I was one of these people. And I also realized that I could just as easily replace my negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So if I was going back to a social situation where I said something stupid, the whole reason I was there in that social situation in the first place was because I was around people who interested me and they had interesting things to say. And I might have felt inadequate for not saying something as witty or smart, but just the fact I was there said something about who I was. And those are the positive sides of things that I like to think about instead of ruminating about the negatives. And I just wanted to share that sort of like flip of psychology with everybody because within several weeks, a couple months, all of a sudden, every time I was thinking back to the past, it was about something positive, and my life got a lot better. So yeah, I just wanted to share that and release the floor to somebody else.
Fantastic.
You so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's such a great idea that because some people will say, well, my mind is always going. It's like, okay, your mind is always going, but why don't we just channel that or direct that over into a positive direction so that it's working for you, right? So thank you so much. And I think that goes exactly to what Donna Maria's, her point is that, we all have some great things to share.
Yeah, and Scrammy has something to share too. Scrammy is the next. Can you talk, Sam? If I unmuted you.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
I was just having a great conversation with my new friend Ron, and one of the things that we were discussing was the idea, and when we talked about the rock and the lever and the fulcrum, that people get this idea that they have this big giant rock. This is an insurmountable thing that they can't get past. And if you tell somebody, well, listen, you have 1,000-pound rock, and when you look at it, you can't move it. It's a circumstance in your life that you think you can't get past. But if I said to you, you can also have 1,000 one-pound rocks, and you can just do little things every day. If you have to move either a 1,000-pound rock across this room, or you can move 1,000 little rocks and just do a little bit each day. And all of a sudden you realize you didn't actually need to move 1,000 pounds. You only needed to move about 70 pounds of rocks before the change happened that you needed. And that 1,000 pound rock is just gone. So that little bit of effort turned into the change that you thought you could never make. So that was a great conversation that Ron and I had there. So thank you.
Wow. See, there's so much wisdom in the room. Thank you, Scrammy and Ron, because it sounds like together you kind of cooked that up. Fantastic. This is great.
Sorry, I just flipped to the other side. There's another question, I think, or somebody wants to share something. Oh no, it is. Scrammy was still up in the board. Is there any other question? Please, if you have a question, raise the hand button on your right hand bottom side, and then you can take the stage, or you can also stand from that place if you like to be there. Whatever you like.
And I would like you guys to go ahead and rate yourselves again. You rated your scale from 1 to 100 earlier. So where is your number now after having done the positives and shared your positives with your partners? And so let's see some heart emojis for all those numbers that went up, right? And so, you're proving to yourself, and music is another good example. That if you listen to some really upbeat music or whatever it is that would work for you, so it's very powerful to recognize that it's like what Scrammy was saying. It's like it's the little things and that you can redirect things over into a more positive direction. So as I said, I'm going to hang out here. So if you guys are being shy about your questions, I'm making myself available. Does anybody else have any other questions at this point?
You can also shout your question or say your question. Or maybe, oh no, you're unmuted. Maybe I put you on the unmuted button. So maybe someone wants to have a question. Please tell him. I know that I heard a question before. The one question was that in the group where I was, there was a question that to you directly, Frank Clayton. So you talked about that you have scientific proof to back up the exercise. Can you explain that a little bit more? How is that measured? That was a question in my group.
Okay. Well, there's actually different ways of measuring happiness. Many times what they're doing is by what we call self-report. And so there are different tests. By the way, you can go to AuthenticHappiness.org. They have many self-tests there. You can go there. And there's a test on, well, there's many tests on there. There's also one, and I want to make sure that, because I promised I would give you guys resources on how you can be lastingly happier. If there is one book, and I don't get any kickbacks or I don't get anything out of pitching this book, but after teaching on positive psychology for 10 years, I still have not found a better book. So if you care about your happiness, the one book, if you're going to buy any one book to improve your happiness, it's called The How of Happiness. The How of Happiness. And I'll spell the author's name. Her name is Sonia Lubomirsky, and her first name is spelled with a J, Sonja, and Lubomirsky is Lubomirsky, Lubomirsky. So, and believe it or not, they've actually been able to they're able to test people's happiness levels on a biological basis as well. that, oh man, see, I figured it out. I have about 16 hours of information in my head. And so when she said talk for 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I'll give it my best. But anyway, yeah, they're able to, suffice to say that they're actually able to test people not by self-report, but also for biological feedback, which is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Great. Is that answered the question? Yes, good. Okay, then I would like to, for example, we're gonna go on for 15 more minutes, and also then you have still a chance to talk to Clayton after the session. But now also I want to give the stage for people to have this open discussion. So every week we have an open discussion where we just share knowledge, tips and tricks about the stress and anxiety and maybe frustration around this corona crisis, or maybe even good things that happened to you because of corona crisis. And we just want to make people share and offer this space so people can interact with each other and yeah, but people can learn from each other in these times. So if anybody wants to say something about that or has something to say, please say it. You can say it out loud now. I unmuted you. Hello. Or else we just, yeah. So who is that? Cheyenne? Was that you? No, it was not. Anybody else?
Can I share one other thing before I forget?
Yeah, please go on.
I have a sheet that I could share with you about different, you could say 8 different flavors or 8 different ways of doing your positives. So if you would like to email me to get that sheet, it's frank@saltlakementalhealth.com. frank@saltlakementalhealth.com. And I will be happy to just send that off to you. It's called Building Your Positive Muscles.
And do you have a website as well, Frank, so they can look you up?
Yes, thank you. It's saltlakementalhealth.com. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. And also people, so if you have no more question, we can just, could say something more, Frank, or else we can just close the presentation and have like discussions, interaction with each other in small groups. That's also okay with everybody. What do you think, Frank? What shall we do?
Oh, I'm fine for either one. Can I give another, just a 60-second tip?
Of course, please do.
Okay. Remember when I was talking about doing your positives, if you have any trouble sleeping, because she's talking about our anxiety and we can end up worrying and our sleep can become compromised. So I had another article called Count Positives, Not Sheep, right? And so like as you're laying there and you're trying to go to sleep, in a very gentle way, not in like, oh, I need to think of another positive, just in a very gentle way, you can, because if you think of your thoughts kind of like sheep, like bah, sheep, right? And so you need to be a good shepherd to your thoughts. And so with you shepherding your thoughts over to positives, it'll put you in a much better frame of mind. Counting sheep doesn't really, I don't think it's never worked for me anyway. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out as a tidbit for maybe improving sleep. And if you're interested, if you really struggle with sleep, Google sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene could really help you.
Angela has a question, so we'll unmute
Yes.
Angela. Oh no, she's not unmuted, but
Yes.
you can, yes.
Yes, I just did. Thank you so much. Frank, or anyone else in the room, I'm just going to put this question out for everyone in general. As far as some of the things that I've had to deal with relating to COVID-19, one thing that is aggravating me, I guess, beyond anything is that, let me just maybe come over here, is that like a lot of my morning routines are completely out of whack. And I've even gotten to the point to where I'm not even doing the things that I usually do. What I mean by that in particular is like working out. There's a time of space that I allow myself for an hour of reading, this sort of thing. And part of it is just that what I had to do or what I chose to do in preparation for our family as it relates to food and other items, all that extra stuff, in addition to other things like my business, etc., just floored me. It got me really, really tired. And so I was just, and I'm trying not to be hard on myself. I am a type of person that likes to meet my goals and targets. And I really dislike it when I don't. So I guess my question would be anybody's ideas on if I'm standing over here alone, how are you handling it? Any suggestions? That's what I'm after. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice that you shared that with us. Yeah, I would like to say something. I'm a coach myself, and also I struggle sometimes with these things. In these times, it's like also maybe the whole energy of the world that is, yeah, making a feeling of heaviness sometimes. So, and then it makes you, I find also that it makes you then not being really proactive to do the things you would like you to do yourself, and that stops you sometimes from choosing positive things. But what I do always in these cases, I meditate. So meditation for me, it really helps me. If I meditate and take this time also to do that, it always gives me more, after that, I feel more, more, how you say, motivated and inspired to do the stuff that I would like to do. So this is really helping me. Anybody else? What is anybody else doing in these times and when they're struggling with things that they don't do and they would like to do that would help them?
I give myself the freedom to sometimes just not do it. This is a pretty special circumstance, and if I'm not always on my game every single day, I give myself a pass for it. There's a time and a place where I can get back on and hit every single thing 100% every single time. I don't think this is it. I don't think I need to put that much extra pressure on myself. Focus on the things that you need to do, you know what I mean, the absolute ones,
Yeah.
but give yourself also the freedom and to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do that today, and I'm going to be okay with that, and we'll check it out tomorrow. But today, this is my best. This is the best thing that I can do today.
Thank you,
That
Scrammy.
sounds really beautiful. Yeah, really nice, Scrammy. Be nice to each other and yourself. I mean, be loving. And great. Anybody else?
If I
wants to
may address the question,
Yes, please.
I guess what I would say is it's very much in our face right now about the many things that we don't have control over. This is a huge piece of what we talk about in the class in Happiness 101. So it's this kind of goes back to the I can't control the weather, but I can control the direction of my sails, and also kind of piggybacks on what Scrammy had said earlier about focusing on the things that you can control. And I heard you say that about you being hard on yourself, and that sounds like it would be a good place to start. Would be because that is something that's within your control, like you beating yourself up. That's a choice, and maybe it's little steps of starting to catch yourself here and there, and just be, gosh, Angela, just be maybe as compassionate as you would a stranger. You know, just that civil. Just have a little bit of love, a little bit of compassion for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So we have 6 more minutes. I would like to, if somebody has another question or something wants to share, you still can do it. But I would like to go always to the end to close with something positive to take away with, to go back to do your things, but take something positive away. Are there any one-liners or people that can say something empowering to take away with for everybody?
I guess my one-liner would be, and this will probably be edgy for some of you, but you're making up reality anyway. Why not make it up in a way that works for you?
Beautiful. Yes. Oh, sorry. Anybody else has a one-liner or something happy? The last one, we had a couple of one-liners already here, so don't worry, be happy is always a good one, of course.
Right.
And yeah, choose happy thoughts. Share your time with the people you love and strengthen you. Yes, Futurist, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I've got a nice one. It's called turn your vicious cycle into a virtuous cycle.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Vicious cycle to virtuous cycle.
I like the
Anybody
one
else?
where you don't know what else to do, and the one that's fake it till you make it.
Ah, great.
Right.
Fake it till you make it. Great. Anybody else? No? Okay, don't worry. You can stay here a little bit more and go having questions for Frank. If anybody has some questions for Frank, give him a big hand of applause. Applause for big hand for Frank. So happy
Thank
that
you.
were doing this for us, Frank. We were so happy to have you here. And also I want to ask you to give a big hand to Jason and Bogdan. They're helping us out with the technical stuff. Also, Ron is sometimes helping us out with the technical stuff. I thought Ron is here too. So
Yeah,
give a
Ron's
big hand
here.
to Ron as well. Thank you so much, everybody. And also everybody who's been here every week. I love you guys. Big hand to yourself. And I hope the new ones always come back again for next time. We always try to have interesting speakers. And if you want to be a guest speaker one time, please feel free to connect with me. The best way to connect with me is on Discord at the vCoaching and Personal Development track. There, everybody can be a member of that, and you can also. We're gonna post some things there. So Frank his video is gonna be here. So we recorded this session, so we're gonna put this video up, so for you to look at that. And what we always also do is making a selfie. So we would like to make a selfie with everybody in it. So if you all want to come next to me, stand next to me, and then I can make a selfie for us with everybody in it, and then I will share it also in the vCoaching and Personal Development track, so everybody can look up this selfie.
See, what's funny is that I'm tall, so immediately I went right to the back, even though even though we're in VR, I just naturally did that.
That's funny.
But please come a little bit next to me, because I need to make the picture, and it's really you need to be really standing close to me. It's we don't have to do 1.5 meters in VR. You can really stand close to me, so we have as much people in the pictures as possible.
Can I do the rabbit ears over her head?
Yeah, come, please do. But come closer, please, Frank. Frank, can you come a little bit closer, really next to me, because you're really in the back right now. Closer, 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 much closer. You're still next. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, come. A little bit more to the front. Even more. Yes, next. Oh, now I don't see you. You're now in the front. Sorry.
What are we even doing here?
Yeah, we are now making
a selfie, a picture.
Yeah. Frank, a little bit to the back now. I don't
To
see
the
any more
left,
in
I
the
think.
picture.
She needs to go to the left.
Yes,
There you
yes,
go.
perfect. Stay there. Don't move. Okay, another one, because I see people in the back, but I don't see a lot. Yes, a little bit more already. Yes. Okay, and please come more people. I'm gonna make a couple of selfies so we can have everybody in. Please come more people in the back next to me. Yes. Oh, interesting. And maybe give some hearts. Can you give some hearts, everybody? Yes, very good. I'm gonna, oh yeah. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna, myself, I think I moved forwards. That was
Yeah.
not my intention. So I'm gonna see what happened. Yeah, okay, almost. I have to go back a little bit more. So I hope to get next to you
I raised
guys.
my hand.
So, yeah, last one. Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. I hear myself 2 times. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. I think I got it.
All right.
Yay! That was fun.
Can you tell us one more time how to find you in Discord?
Yeah, so at the Discord, I am, I
Yeah,
will
you're
mute
echoing.
everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
mute everybody. So just to get my echo out of the way. So in Discord, there's a vCoaching and personal development track, and that is organized by the educators in VR. So the educators in VR has a Discord channel where I have a track, of vCoaching and personal development track, and that I post these things. You can also post things that has to do with personal development coaching. So please feel welcome to post there and have discussions there about personal development and coaching. And also, if you want to talk, be a guest speaker, please feel welcome to connect with me there also.
Can you say the
And
last thing one more time? Your sentence kind of faded out a little bit.
So please, if you feel like you want to be a guest speaker one time, or you want to share something, please feel free to connect with me. So